What's going to finish Jae'sean here? So I'm talking about the Houston Rockets situation because amid the John Wall situation right now and the roster moves made by Rafael Stone, it's definitely an interesting thing to talk about, especially because there are some pretty underrated moves that the Houston Rockets are making. So we're going to be breaking it down today. We're going to be talking about the Rockets and what it's going to be looking like in the future. So what's up? My name is Jae'sean. If you like the video, drop it down below, press the sub button. We do NBA content here, but mostly Houston Rockets. We have a Houston Rockets video today, but we still are kind of dry on NBA content as a whole. So we're just going to be pumping these out before the preseason opener for the Rockets, which is on October 5th versus the Wizards. So we're going to be pumping out these videos. If you like what you see, drop it down below, press the sub button, and let's get to the video. So I think I want to start this off by saying, the John Wall trade and the John Wall situation right now is definitely a good thing for the Rockets, and it's definitely a positive. Kevin Porter Jr. gets to finally be the starting point guard that everyone knows that he can be. His playmaking underrated, everything about his game is underrated. To some, it could be overrated, but in my eyes, he's definitely an underrated player as of right now. So the KBJ and Jalen Green backcourt is definitely happening alongside Christian Wood and Daniel Tice and then Jae'Sean. That starting five is definitely going to be the starting five. Maybe they switch Daniel Tice to a sixth man and then put in Alperen Şengün at the five, which I don't see happening because he doesn't have that experience yet. Although he did play in Turkey, which could lead some to him being starting over Daniel Tice, which could make sense, but no, I have Daniel Tice over him because he has more experience. So yeah, starting off with the John Wall situation, the three teams I could see trading for him are the Pelicans, because they do need a point guard with losing Lonzo Ball, which makes sense. The Clippers, they do need a starting point guard because Reggie Jackson and Eric Bledsoe, they're not going to get it done. And the Miami Heat. Miami Heat, definitely, it's going to be an interesting trade to see because they already do have Kyle Lowry. So if they trade for John Wall, I don't really know how that'd work unless, he's willing to come off the bench. So, and would they really give up realistically? They wouldn't give up Tyler Hero. That's what I'm guessing. They probably would give up Duncan Robinson, maybe just to kind of work out with the contracts and salary. But, I don't really see Miami trading anything more than maybe like a bench player and like maybe a pick. Not really too sure how that trade would go. But, John Wall, those are the three teams I'm really seeing trading for him. If those don't work out, a buyout is definitely still in the talks. Now, in the report, they didn't really have any talks in terms of a buyout. But if none of those trades work, a buyout could definitely happen. So, moving on to the roster of the Rockets. Now, looking at it right now, they have a 20-man roster. Starting from the top, Augustine, they have Armani Brooks, Josh Christopher, Exum, Garuba, Gordon, Jalen Green, House, Matthew Hurt, who I definitely forgot was on the team, Anthony Lamb, KJ Martin, Jae'Sean Nix, David Nwaba, KPJ, Alperen Şengün, Jae'Sean, Daniel Tice, Kyrie Thomas, John Wall, and Christian Wood. So 20-man roster right in there. And when the season opens, we're going to need a 15-man roster because that's the only allowed, a certain amount of players you can have on the team. So it's definitely going to be interesting who gets cut. Jae'Sean Nix, I'm definitely seeing him as the odd man out here because he hasn't really proven himself yet. Unless he starts going absolutely crazy for some reason in the preseason, which could definitely happen, but I don't really see happening. Jae'Sean Nix could definitely be an odd man out. Same thing with Matthew Hurt. Now, I haven't seen too much from Matthew Hurt to really say that I like his game, especially in the Summer League. Didn't really impress too many people, so Nix and Hurt are my two players that could be the odd man out. Now, Armani Brooks could definitely be another person that could be the odd man out because we have a lot of guards on this team. Augustine, for example, Dante Exum re-signing, which was an absolutely stupid move. I wouldn't say stupid move, but a really questionable move by Rafael Stone, which we'll get into later. But Armani Brooks could definitely be in jeopardy in terms of his position on the Rockets because we have a lot of guards. So hopefully he isn't, but he's on my list for the odd man out. So that's three. Probably number four, I'd probably have to say Kyrie Thomas. Now, Kyrie Thomas definitely impressed a lot of people, especially last season. In the 5 games he played, did average like 16 points per game. So he definitely did impress a lot of people. But the same thing with Armani Brooks is that he's a shooting guard, and we have a lot of guards on the team. So it wouldn't make any sense to bring him back unless he's willing to come off the bench and get some garbage time minutes, which he's probably going to get anyways. So, there's that. And then 5, Anthony Lamb. Kind of obvious right there. Anthony Lamb hasn't impressed too many people. So those are my 5 picks for who aren't going to make the roster. Now, in terms of the roster in itself, I feel like Christopher and Garuba are definitely going to be sent down to the G League. And then Şengün going to stay with the lineup. Garuba and Christopher, they both need work. They both need to work on their game a lot. Christopher, his efficiencies. Garuba, his offensive ability. Şengün, he has a good mix of offense and defense. It's just a matter of putting it together. consistently on a consistent basis. So Gruba, Christopher, I can both see them going to the G League. I can see Armani Brooks going back to the G League if possible. So other than that, I mean, obviously, kind of a trade piece right there to get maybe a pick. I don't know, maybe a bench player there. But this roster right now is looking pretty great right now. Projected starting five: KPJ, Jalen Green, Jae'Sean, Christian Wood, Daniel Tice. We still got Eric Gordon on the team, who was open to trading for another team. And he's also pretty content here in Houston. So I'd really like him on the team as a mentor type of role. Someone that can mentor Jalen Green or KPJ, either one. He'd be a really good mentor on the team. Same thing with John Wall, but obviously on his way out. So the Rockets, now in terms of what the season could look like for them next season, it could be either great for them and make the play-in or the playoffs as the 8th seed, make it in there, maybe get bounced out of the first round, which could be very surprising for other NBA fans. And then on the flip side, could be very bad and get a top 3-2 pick in the draft, because they do have their unprotected first round pick in 2022. So we could get Chet Holmgren, which could be very, very great for us, because we do need a center, because Daniel Tice, he is decent, I guess, but not really there for a long-term situation or a long-term solution, because he is 29 years old. So if you could get the number 1 pick in the 2022 NBA draft, get Chet Holmgren, pair him alongside Christian Wood and Alperen Sengun off the bench, and then trade Daniel Tice, this could be a very deadly lineup in the future. KPJ is only, 21? Jalen Green's 19. Jae'Sean 26. Wood's 26. Holmgren's going to be 19. That's going to be an absolutely great starting five right there in the future. So the Rockets, I'm definitely projecting them to be I'm not going to say very great, but exceed expectations, because everyone has them being a low seed. I have high expectations for this team. I think they could make the play-in tournament, could beat the play-in team that they play, and then make the 8th seed, and then probably get bounced out of the first round, which would be very surprising, because this team in itself isn't all that great. They don't even have too many vets. Eric Gordon's one of them, Augustine, but there's only a handful of them. John Wall probably going to be gone by the start of the season. And then they got a lot of young players who haven't really proven themselves yet, so they don't really have that experience. So getting bounced out of the first round would definitely be surprising, especially to a lot of NBA fans. So hopefully they do make the play-in. Hopefully they do make the playoffs, because I definitely want to see an interesting / exciting season from the Rockets. Not saying that the regular season isn't going to be exciting, but I want to see some competitiveness from this team, because I think they can be great. I think, KPJ could average 18 and 10. Jalen Green could be an 18 and 10 guy too, depending on what happens. Maybe 18 and 5. Christian Wood could still be 21 and 10. So this team could definitely be very great, just depending on how they piece it together and how they work together. So the Rockets, I definitely have them making the play-in / the playoffs and then getting bounced out of the first round. Worst case scenario, they do get the top pick in the draft and be absolutely trash and probably be like the 15th seed in the conference. So hopefully the Rockets, they start making some other moves. Hopefully trade Augustine. Hopefully trade Wall for at least, I don't know, something, get some value out of John Wall, because I don't want to buy him out for nothing and just let another team get him, because he still is an all-star caliber player, borderline all-star caliber player. He's just making too much money. So hopefully we don't buy him out. Hopefully we at least get like a pick out of him, maybe a second round pick at best, and hopefully he just lands in a contending team. So that's it for the video. I just wanted to talk about the Rockets before the preseason opener. It's going to be a very fun game to watch. I probably will stream that game, so look out for that. So that's JDC, and well, peace.